Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy to be back here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. And you all already know what time it is. It is Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. You are here live with Coach Steele, which is me, Coach Steele, here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. So I'm excited to be here on today to talk about financial literacy. We have another beautiful topic on today to discuss. And here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, oh my goodness, we've been having some great topics this past month. We have been going over the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, last Saturday, we took a break from it, and I'll get to that in a second. But this is the book we've been going over. And this Saturday, today, we'll take another break from the book. But I want to remind everyone, as you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, happy to have you. You can tune in on Facebook, or you can tune in on the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training on the YouTube channel. If you just tune in on Facebook, I still need you to walk on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training. That will help me out. So as I give away information for free, all you have to do is subscribe. It's a fair trade. It reciprocates. So I appreciate the love as you do that. And you already know, as you dive on in the room, make sure you greet me, make sure you meet me, tell me hello, good morning. I want to know as you tune in, and I want to show you some love back for supporting. That's the least I could do is shout you out for tuning in and taking time out, making that sacrifice to join me in a conversation about finances, which our community should talk about finances so much more. So I'm just a small piece of the puzzle that helps bring it all together. So here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, we talk about all things financial literacy, and we try to make the complicated things and break them down to make them a little more simpler and easier for everyone to understand. So hopefully that makes sense. Today, Coach Steele's Finance Training, even though we finished chapter 4 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and we're getting ready to go to chapter 5, we'll probably do that next Saturday. Already got my notes and everything for chapter 5, but today I wanted to take another break from the book that we've been going over. And honestly, these 2 weeks break from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, some of my viewers that are listening in, this actually gives you time to catch up. So if you haven't ordered the book, or if you ordered it late and you're trying to catch up to the lessons, then it gives you time to catch up to the lessons. Even if you miss something on a Saturday, all of this gives you time to catch up to some of those lessons you may have missed as well. And I'll give you an example. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. Let's see here. Let me enlarge so you can see a little bit better. But when you look at some of the lessons we've gone over with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you are behind, you're going to notice as I go to the YouTube channel, and this is where you'll go to subscribe, you'll notice on the YouTube channel the different lessons here. Of course, we see chapter 4 right here where it says taxes and corporations. Let's see if I can enlarge that a little bit more for y'all. Let's see, what did I do? I'm going to click on live, scroll up. And so I just want you to see over in this area, you're going to see chapter 4. I did it again, guys. Be patient with me. There we go. I got it right this time. You're going to see chapter 4, and you'll see chapter 3. So any of those lessons that you missed while we are taking this 2-week break from the book, you'll be able to go back and look at some of these lessons you may have missed on the YouTube channel. So it gives you time to catch up. All right, I'm going to click off of this and get back to what we were doing, because today we have a beautiful subject where we are talking about, let's see here. You see it right there, financial strengths and weaknesses. That's what we're talking about today, financial strengths and weaknesses. And everybody has strengths and weaknesses when it comes to finances. Good morning to my lovely wife, Yvette Steele. Happy to have her tuned in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. I pay her to tune in. And so at least I have one listener guaranteed. And appreciate everybody else that tunes in on today. And so as we talk about financial strengths and weaknesses, what are your financial strengths and weaknesses? Start thinking about it. I want you to mull it over. And as you saw on the YouTube channel, the lesson we did last week, it was talking about the economy in Cameroon and some of the things I noticed. And I'll post more videos and pictures about my experience in Cameroon on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. I may not post all of them on Facebook because on the YouTube channel, I'll probably put some videos together talking and explaining some things that I saw about their economy that'll fit better on the YouTube channel as opposed to just on Facebook. But I did have some great experiences in Cameroon that were priceless. And I'm just grateful and appreciative that I was able to go over there. But all of that falls under financial literacy because in order to plan for such an expensive trip that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, there has to be a budget in place. You don't want to just take a credit card swipe and go on the trip without a plan on how to pay that trip off or make it more affordable so you don't have to pay as much. So definitely had to apply all of my financial literacy skills in place to plan for such a great trip, because it wasn't just a trip for me to go over and be on vacation, but there was a lot of things being funded. There was a whole program going on as far as ministry. It was just a lot. And then, of course, I adopted a child over there in Cameroon as well, over 3 years ago. And so I got a chance to meet my adopted son face to face, and we had a great time. And of course, I spoiled him. So therefore, a budget had to be in place for the ministry program and for the personal things that I was doing over there. So it was truly a blessing. And so as soon as I got back, I was going through my numbers and everything, trying to make sure I keep everything on track now that I'm back in the States. And so today, we are talking about financial strengths and weaknesses. What are your financial strengths and weaknesses? I want to hear your thoughts, your comments. I'm interested to see if you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I want to go over a few subjects that may help you understand some things you need to think about of what may be your strengths and what might be your weaknesses when it comes to finances. And so a lot of people don't think about that. You become very content with where you are, so therefore you don't grow. And that is an easy way to get left behind. But financial literacy is such a broad subject, right? And because it's a broad subject, there's areas where you may be strong and there may be areas where you're weak. So for example, there are certain areas when it comes to financial literacy or certain financial subjects, it is not my strength. So for example, I know some basics about stocks, but I would never try to teach a class about stocks. Why? Because that's not my strength. I would lead people astray. There are certain basic fundamental things that I know. Now to other people, it will look like I know a lot, but stocks is not my strength. If anything, I could call it a weakness. Now, when it comes to this space of real estate, I'm stronger in the real estate investing space than I am in the stock market. So that would be more of seen like a strength and not necessarily a weakness. Now, check this out. Even if something is your strength, it doesn't mean that you can't grow in that area. It doesn't mean you maxed out. Like, I know a decent amount about real estate, but there's so much more I can learn. There's so much more that I can do and grow in. So when we talk about strengths and weaknesses, don't just be content that you're strong in a certain area, but you want to be able to get even better in those areas as well. So anyway, we'll talk about a few different subjects. And one of the first things I want to talk about and deal with is understanding money and how you make it. You have to be able to understand currency. You have to understand money. And to be able to understand that, the basics when it comes to financial literacy and what money is and how it is made, you have to go back and do your research and your homework on how money was originally made. What is currency? How did people trade? How did they barter? How do countries come up with what their currency is going to be and what it is? And what was the gold standard and how did we come off the gold standard? So there's a lot to go through when you deal with the history of it, because when you learn the history and the basics, you become stronger with understanding how to make money and how money works, right? Now, I won't go too deep into the history of those things, but I want to dive straight to the subject of budgeting. When it comes to budgeting, is it a strength or a weakness for you? That's the first thing I want to deal with. And I want to hear your thoughts. If budgeting is a strength, you can put the muscle emoji up. If it's a weakness, I don't know what emoji represents weakness, but somebody, I have so many different creative people that tune in and listen. I'm sure you'll be able to come up with an emoji that represents weakness. But as we go through this, if it's a strength, you can say strength, or you can put the muscle emoji up, or whatever picture you want to put up in the comment section, as long as it's decent. And so I'm happy and appreciative of everybody that tunes in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. So budgeting. When it comes to budgeting, is it a strength or a weakness for you? I want you all to understand that budgeting is such an integral part when it comes to your finances. When it comes to personal finances or even business, you need to know how to budget. And if budgeting is a weakness, don't be intimidated. Don't run away. You have to learn the basics when it comes to budgeting. And there's apps, there's Excel sheets. There are things that can help you go from weakness to being a strength. So don't allow, just because you're not confident when it comes to budgeting, don't allow that to slow you down. Don't allow that to make you run away from talking about financial literacy and getting things accomplished, because it doesn't take long to catch on to developing good budgeting habits. It's just like if you wanted to learn how to shoot better, or if you wanted to learn how to jog a mile, you start off, you take baby steps, you take the necessary things and you put it in place so that you can be able to execute effectively. And if you really dedicate yourself to becoming better at budgeting, it might only take maybe 1 to 3 months to figure out your system and get real good at it. And when it comes to saving yourself money, when it comes to your finances, why would you not dedicate 1 to 3 months to becoming better at managing and understanding your finances, where your money is going? So you have to look at budgeting and whether it's a strength or a weakness for you. And like I said, if you're not good at it, get help. Get with someone who's good at it. Get help with someone who can coach you and guide you through understanding what your budget is. Don't look at other people's budget. Other people's budget does not dictate or determine what yours is. You're going off of what you have coming in, what you have going out, right? And so there's so many creative ways that can help you with your budget. And if you have a business, please figure out what you have going in and coming out, right? Because that's important, to figure out what you have coming in and going out. And another easy way, let's say you're not good at budgeting, but you have a business, you can get your tax professional, and your tax professional will help you with that. There's QuickBooks. You can have a tax professional. You might pay them $40 a month, $30 a month, whatever it is that you agree on. And so as your business account has transactions going in and out, different things are going on, they will label everything. So by the end of the year, everything is in its right place as far as accounting, and everything is accounted for. And so if it was a weakness, guess what? You have now compensated someone to help you with which was a weakness and which was hindering you, whether it was taxes, whether it was finances, having a hold of your business finances. You have paid someone to help you with the weakness. And while they help you maintain it so it's a strength for you, guess what? You're getting better and you're learning how to maintain it yourself. Good morning to Miss Carolyn White. Happy to have you tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Training, good morning to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today. Well, this morning. Good morning to you, and thank you for tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. As you tune in on today, we are talking about financial strengths and weaknesses. And so we've talked about budgeting. We've kind of dove into the subject of accounting and business, because I do have a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners that tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I'm telling you, it's not worth struggling. Get with a good tax professional that understands QuickBooks or whatever platform they use, and they will help you, especially if you have a lot of transactions going on. They will help you, and they'll actually show you how to track it, how to label everything. But if you're so busy that you can't, you can just pay them to actually do it. And so you have to do what works best for you in your financial situation. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed already. Today we're talking about financial strengths and weaknesses. The past couple of weeks we have been going over the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. We're just doing a review. This is a book that I read years ago, but I wanted to do it more like a book club thing, right? Where we are going over and sharing our thoughts, our mindset, what we drew from the book, how we grew from it, what things impacted you, what you agree with, what you disagree with, just to have a conversation, and most importantly, to get us to crack open a book and read. And so we're going to dive into more books and more subjects as well as we continue to grow. And it'd be interesting to hear back from you all what book you would be interested in us reading together as a group. So keep that in mind. I would love to hear your thoughts, concerns, and comments when it comes to the subject matter that you would like to hear and us read together. Another thing, as we talk about financial strengths and weaknesses, when it comes to cash flow, do you understand your cash flow, your CF at the end of the month? After you pay all your bills and expenses and everything is taken care of, what is your cash flow? What do you usually have left over at the end of the month? Is it good? Is it strong? Or is it weak? And so once again, you have to find out, is your cash flow strong at the end of the month or is it weak? And if it's weak, what can you do to improve your cash flow so that it becomes a strength in your finances and not a weakness? Because today we are talking about financial strengths and weaknesses and identifying where our weaknesses are so that they can become strengths, identifying our strengths, but also being critical, examining our strengths and finding out, is there more that we can do to improve those finances, to make them even stronger, to become dominant, take those financial strengths and put steroids on them. And so anyway, is your cash flow a strength or a weakness financially? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, then that means right now the cash flow is a weakness, but we don't give up, we don't quit. We keep fighting and we figure out how to make it a strength. I've told you all plenty of times before. There are times where at the end of the month, I only had $10 left over. It was rough. When I finally got to the point to where I had $50 left over at the end of every month, I think it was like $25 or $50 years ago, I opened up a Roth IRA with the bank because they would accept that small amount. Either it started off with 25 or 50, I can't remember. And then after a while, I had like $100 left over at the end of every month. So then I could contribute $100 to my Roth IRA. And then as we kept growing as a family, eventually my wife had some extra money left over. So then we opened up her Roth IRA. We started funding it. When she started getting raises or promotions on her job, we would pretend as if it didn't happen. And we would take the extra increase and put it into the IRA and continue to live off of what we had coming in. And so we were increasing our cash flow. But not only were we increasing our cash flow, but we were putting it in investment vehicles so that it could grow and it wasn't just sitting and lying dormant. Good morning, Mr. Tony Sherman. Appreciate you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we are talking about financial strengths and weaknesses. And if you're tuning in on today, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to share this live so other people can hear the conversation about financial literacy on today. This is a great conversation to have in our community and our circle of people so that we can continue to grow. I am enjoying this conversation about financial literacy. I have a blast talking about it and using these terms and these words so that they become so common and familiar with everyone so that we can be on the same playing field and vocabulary. And so it makes a big difference depending on who you're having conversations with. And so let's see here. We got Miss Carolyn, Miss K saying, never knew you could do a Roth through your bank. Yes, you can do a Roth IRA through a bank. And you can be very wise with what bank you do it with. And I got Bishop Jackson calling me. I'm going to have to call him back. But shout out to Bishop Jackson, one of my mentors that has helped me out from my early 20s to where I am now. So shout out to Bishop Jackson. I am live, sir. And so I cannot take your call right now unless you want to pop up on the live and have a conversation about financial literacy. I can give you the link. And so when it talks about a Roth IRA, Miss K, one thing you can do is find the right bank to open up the Roth IRA with. There are some platforms or banks you can open up a Roth, and different platforms or banks have different benefits to open up their Roth, to open up a Roth IRA with them. So I recommend definitely doing some research. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about today. When it comes to strengths and weaknesses of your finances and financial literacy, many of you are going to have homework assignments today from this teaching that we're going over, right? Because if you are identifying the weaknesses as I go over it, whether it's budgeting, whether it's accounting for your business, and I'm giving you some answers to the test as well, and whether it's cash flow and then some of the other subjects, we got about 4 other things we're going to discuss. I want you all to do some research and homework. If you wanted to start a Roth IRA, start researching banks that have Roth. What are the pros and cons of getting with this bank versus that bank? So those are some of the things you want to look at doing. Do you want a Roth IRA? Do you want a self-directed Roth IRA? What is the difference between the two? It is time to do homework and come back and have a discussion, right? We got to do our homework and research, because you can't just want to think and do it, but we got to do the legwork. We got to do the work if we want to get there. So think about that, guys, as you increase your cash flow, because if it's a weakness, right, we want to increase the cash flow, but then when the cash flow is increased and we got that money, we got to figure out a plan on what to do with the money. Because if you don't come up with a plan on what to do with the funds will come up with their own plan. So you have to be in control of the money and the cash flow and not let it be in control of you. Now, let's continue further. Ms. K said, what other resources can your bank help you with? You know, it's interesting when you ask what other resources that your bank can help you with. If you go to your local bank or you sit in a bank, they will tell you that they can help you with everything with your finances. So I like banks, and banks have a place in our lives to help us with certain things. So banks will tell you other resources they have, but it doesn't mean they're always the best. You know, small example. If you go to a bank and you say, what can I do to increase how much money I make every month? One of the things that banks like to do is throw CDs at people. And strategically, it makes sense for them to get you to commit to park your money in a place for an extended period of time, because that gives them leverage and to do certain things with your money. But at the same time, I like to have my money and finances liquid. So just to give a quick example, you can put your money in a CD at 4%, or you can just put your money in a high yield interest savings account at 4%, where you still have access to the funds. So a bank will tell you they have all type of resources where they can help you and guide you, but also do your own homework so you'll know where you want to put your money. Because for every place a bank or a tool that a bank has where you can put your money, there's probably something else or another platform where you can put your finances in a different spot and get just as good or potentially better results. But once again, I'm biased as well. Like, instead of putting my money in some type of investment account in a bank, I would rather put it in real estate, just because I understand how real estate can grow my money faster. So get with your personal bank and basically interview them. Have them answer those questions. Like, that's a good question. And to go to the bank and say, what other resources can you help me with when it comes to my finances? And they are going to give you a laundry list of things that they can help you with. They may come up with a plan. I think Navy Federal is a bank that they teach financial literacy. They do speaking engagements in places, and they'll try to put together like a long-term financial plan for you. And so they may provide financial coaching and things like that. I don't want to shout out any specific banks or anything. I'm not getting paid, but find out what those banks offer, compare and contrast, interview them. You can go in there. I used to do some silly stuff when I was younger. When I interview banks, or I would go to see who I wanted to do my business with. Yes, you got some homework, Miss K. Mr. Doc says, I use Laurel Road for my high yield savings. With Laurel Road, what interest do you get, Doc? Where did they at? Are they like 3.8%, 3.9, 4%, 4.5? What's the high yield interest there? So you're giving some secret sauce to some people there. So it'd be interesting to see, and appreciate you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, Mr. Doc. And as we're talking about financial strengths and weaknesses, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments concerning this subject matter. And so also, when we talk about another subject, when we talk about he has 3.8, okay, so that's pretty good. That's one of the higher amounts. Some do 3.8. I think there might be some people that's still around 4%, but I'm around 3.8 or 3.9, somewhere in there. I have two different banks that I use for high yield, and one of them allows me to be an affiliate. So one of them is at like 3.8%. The other one might be a little bit lower than 3.8, or either it is, but I'm an affiliate there. So I also make money at being an affiliate. So even though it's a little bit lower than some of the other interest rates, I make money. I make more money off of being an affiliate than I do off of the interest. So it just makes sense to go with them, even though it's a lower rate. So anyway, as we go a little bit further, we're talking about strengths and weaknesses when it comes to our finances. I put on here how to increase or flip what you have. So for some people, they struggle. I see this a lot. There are some people, they have mounds of cash just sitting there, just mounds and mounds of cash. I do financial coaching Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekend, but I try to keep it during the weekday. And I deal with people that just have tons and tons of money. And you're right, Ron, as the feds lower the rates, the interest rates on those high yields drop. But that's why we got to make the most of them while we can right now. And, fight against inflation, hedge against inflation as best as possible. Everyone has different strategies when it comes to hedging against inflation. So I deal with these people, right? And so they have mounds and mounds of cash, and it's just sitting around, and they don't know what to do with it. And you'd be surprised. I coach and I mentor, and I'm a strategy consultant for people who are millionaires, multimillionaires. And they're sitting with this money, and inflation is just eating it up. But sometimes what I find is some people get a joy out of just seeing the money sitting there. And there's nothing wrong with having a certain amount there, right? But then a certain amount of it needs to be working, because if it's working, it can create cash flow, it can create stream, and you can have that cash flow coming in as opposed to money. See, when the mounds of money is just sitting there, it's actually decreasing. It's losing value. Your mound of money is getting smaller, but it's getting smaller at such a slow pace that you don't know that it's disappearing, that it's losing spending power, right? It's just like, the earth is on an axis and it's rotating, but we can't really feel it turning slowly. Same thing with money. If you have it just mounds of money sitting there, and make sure you share this live as you're listening in, hit the share button, share this with other people, or tag other people in. So some people have a strength of increasing or flipping what they have. For me, I feel like I have a strength. It's more of a strength for me. If I have money, I'm always looking to figure out how to flip it, make it work, make it increase my cash flow. Because when you increase your cash flow, and I like to increase the cash flow by making it passive, not necessarily rushing to make it active. I like trying to figure out creative ways to make money without me having to clock in or physically be present or require less of me as possible. Like that's one of my goals. I get a high off of finding creative ways to make money without me having to physically do too much work at all. And so that can be a strength for some people. It can be a weakness for some people, but you have to figure out what that is for you. So let's continue further with this. For some people, it may be a weakness. And if it's a weakness for you, then guess what? You got to work on it. Just do some homework, do some research and say, what else can I do to make some money? How can I work with what I have? How can I work with what I have to make it grow? And anybody who's listening to Coach Steele's finance training, you already know I do believe you should have an emergency fund. I am not saying take all of your extra money and throw it into something. That would be crazy. Now, some people have so much cash flow coming in every month that they can literally get away with doing it. But for the average person, it wouldn't be wise to do that. Mr. Doc says, I can't have my money unemployed. I have to put it to work. It's that simple. That's one of my philosophies and mindset. Make your money work. Otherwise, you'll just constantly be working for money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you want to have options in life. You want to be able to be diversified. And that's one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki talks about in this book is being able to have the option to decide. By creating passive income that can potentially match your active income, it gives you options. And so as you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, many of you all know I have multiple rental properties. And with those multiple rental properties, every month, like clockwork, I receive passive income. No matter what I do, the passive income comes in from those multiple doors. So whether I go to work or not, that money is going to come in. And many of you don't realize when you have your 9-to-5 jobs, you can create a real estate portfolio that matches what your 9-to-5 brings to the table. And as you continue to learn and grow, whether it's real estate, there's private investing that you can do that brings passive income in as well. Whatever it is, stocks, dividend stocks, you name it, all these different asset classes, they can match. You can create an investment and financial strategy to match and come up with a plan of if I make $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, you can match what you make at your job. So now you have doubled what you made. Here's the beautiful thing about real estate. And y'all got me on a real estate tangent now. If your job doesn't give you a raise, if your job doesn't give you an increase in pay, guess what? Next year, the rent is going up. So now your passive income by default, because real estate helps hedge against inflation. So check this out. Now you have the option to raise rent or not. You don't have to. But all I'm saying is if your job isn't leveling you up, your asset classes are going to keep leveling up and keep up with inflation. Most people's job, when they give you raises and pay increases, it does not really keep up with inflation like it should. So guess what? Those assets do. And after a while, your passive income will dominate your active income at times as you continue to grow and invest in that. So just keep that in mind, that your passive income can outpace and grow your active income. So another thing Ron Doc says is, I also keep dry powder on the side to buy dips in the market. So he keeps some things at the ready so that when opportunity presents itself, that's another financial strength or weakness that he just brought up there by default. So check this out. Oh, this is so good. I'm glad you brought this point up, Doc, because one of the weaknesses I wanted to deal with that's on my notes here is about fear. When fear hits the economy, most people draw back and they run away. They don't want to make any purchases. They don't want to buy anything. It's doom and gloom. People get fear. They hold their money. They have all this dry powder. But if you know what to do with the money and the dry powder, when everyone gets afraid, when everybody takes a step back and the market's falling apart, that is the perfect time to buy. That's a way to grow wealth very, very fast at an accelerated rate. That's a way to be able to grow wealth and put it on steroids. Why? Because you're essentially buying low. Everybody's panicked. It's a mess. And you get to find great deals. Investors, people who have assets, they become desperate and they want to get off of them so bad that you get good deals. So instead of finding good deals at the shopping mall, get into the marketplace and find good deals on assets. Ooh, that is good advice right there. I'm going to high five myself. Anyway, so you have to know where to find the good deals. Don't just look in the shopping malls or on Amazon. Find the good deals in these asset marketplaces when things are going bad. Good morning to you, Miss Colette Baker. Happy to have you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And we got Doc, he put SPY, VOO. I invest a little in VOO, but do your own research and your homework on these ETFs, and QQQ are great ETFs to invest in. Do your own research and homework if you decide to invest in anything, so that way you can't blame me or Doc if you lose $2. So keep that in mind as well. Always do your own homework and research. And so those ETFs, if you invest in an ETF, think long term. Don't look to get rich tomorrow. Think long term investing, where you want to put money in, where you're going to be dollar cost averaging. All right. So anyway, let's go continue to do it. Financial strengths and weaknesses. I talked about, is it a strength or weakness for you to increase or flip what you have? Don't allow fear to have mounds and tons of money and you're afraid to do something with it. Do homework, do research. See, when you do the proper homework and research, it helps you overcome financial fears because you're so confident in a thing that you're not afraid anymore. You've done all the proper due diligence. But if you don't do due diligence and you're unfamiliar with investing or putting your money in certain places, and you don't have experienced coaches or mentors around you, then that fear will overcome you and you'll allow your mound of money to lose value. And you allow inflation to slowly eat up everything that you worked hard for. It makes no sense to have $100,000 lying around for 3 to 5 years in an account, but after 3 to 5 years, it only has like $80,000 worth of spending power. You just threw $20,000 away. Or you can have that $100,000 sitting around making you $400 a month, but that same, for example, if somebody has $100,000 in a high yield interest savings account, where's my calculator? I don't see it. I've been traveling around. There it is. All right, let's use an example. $100,000 in a high yield interest savings account, making 0.38%. It says $3,800 for the year divided by 12. So it's making like $316 a month, right? $100,000 in a high yield interest savings account, making $316.67 a month. There's going to be compound interest, so eventually it'll make like $320 a month. I can take out of that $100,000, I can take $20,000 of it if I wanted to, find a good real estate deal, and that real estate deal is going to make me $300 a month. That's just $20,000 of it. I can make $300 a month off of the 20. I still got $80,000. So if I still got $80,000 times 0.038%, that's 3,040 divided by 12. It's 253. So my 80,000 will still make 253. The 20,000 invested in the real estate will make another 300. So now I took $100,000 and I'm going to make $553 a month while somebody else is making $316 to $320. So I'm going to increase my cash flow and my net worth and my wealth much faster because the property is also increasing in value. And what's going to happen the next year? The rent is going to go up. So when I was making $300 a month, now I might be making $350 or I might be making $400. And so with that happening, now if I'm making $400 a month plus the $253 compound interest, eventually it'll be $260. Now I'm making $650 a month while one person is still at the $320. And so decisions that you make in the financial world will help dictate and determine how quickly you are able to increase cash flow and grow wealth. And that is going to determine if you have certain strengths and weaknesses. Well, I'm giving y'all game on today. I'm going to give myself another high five. If you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today, I don't want you all to think that your thing has to be real estate, right? Your thing may be something else. I'm just speaking from what I do and what I know. Find your asset class, your business, and apply these same principles and fundamentals to them. Doc says the market will also pull back, which is healthy for the market so that it can move higher. The market also does manipulative moves to make the market drop so that you'll get out so they can buy it at a lower cost. You know, Doc, they did that. This is my personal belief. What you're talking about right here, I am 100% confident that they did that with crypto and they continue to do it with crypto. It is a play that they're doing over and over and over, and people keep falling for it and they get intimidated. But they're going to continue to manipulate and run this play. I say call this audible right here over and over to continue to get wealthy while people sit back and continue to, the middle class and the poor are going to continue to be middle class and poor at a lower level because they're running this play on people. And once again, fear is slowing people down from being able to reach their financial goals. But anyway, so very good point there, Doc. And I also want everyone to know, as you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. But also, I want you all to remember what I told you. August 9th, I need your face in the place. I pray, plan, and execute. August 9th, we got the great Pastor Takara Nicole. Let me move my thing out the way so y'all can see. We got the great Pastor Takara Nicole hosting this great event, and it doesn't even cost that much. If y'all don't go register, we got to throw hands. So Pastor Takara Nicole is right there. She's the host. And I'm going to read off some of these other names. Let's see, to her left, there's Brittany Harper. She's amazing, powerful, very down to earth. We got Mahogany Bowers. We got Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams that's going to be there. We have Kewan Drayton. I've heard Pastor Takara mention a lot of beautiful things about that gentleman as well. So I look forward to hearing what he's doing. He's in my old stomping grounds, my old community of Savannah, Georgia, doing great things. And then, of course, I'm over here as well to her right, our left, Simon Steele, one of the speakers, and the great Dr. Kenneth Law. Pastor Kenneth Law, look forward to meeting him and seeing what he has to say as well. So please make sure that you go to her Facebook page when this broadcast is over, which we probably got a few more minutes, and go ahead and register. It does not cost much at all. And if you're saying, well, I don't have a business, I don't know if there's anything if I should register for this. One, it doesn't cost that much. Two, this may help you decide what direction for your business to go in. This may help give you ideas to create a business opportunity, or if you already have a business in place, this will help push you to that next level. So I pray, plan, and execute. You all know that it is good to plan. There's a scripture that I love that talks about how you must first plan. You must first prep before you start building something. And so otherwise, you'll start the process and you won't finish, and people will be there to mock you. And we don't want anyone mocking you. No matter what your business plan is, come here, fellowship, let's connect, and make sure you register for August 9th. And I think she has a video about it. I don't know if I'm skilled enough to be able to post it. I'm going to try, so y'all bear with me and see if we can get this video to show up. I'm going to take this down. And let's see if I can share my screen. Let's see. See if I can play that video.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Coach Takara Nicole, your execution coach, and I am standing in front of the building that is going to house our next I Pray, Plan, and Execute Mastermind and Leadership Intensive. This event was created for creatives, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, and anybody out there that said, listen, I just feel stuck and I don't know how to execute. This is going to be the place where faith meets strategy. You know, guys, we just cannot work on faith alone, but it's going to take strategy to make sure that our visions come to pass. And so we're going to have topics like trauma. How is it showing up in our vision? The weight and the weight of entrepreneurship. How do I effectively build my team? And finances. How do I get the funding in order to see my vision come to pass? And so listen, go to the website today and sign up at takaranicole.com. I want to see you guys in the room. Right now is the moment for you to make the investment in yourself. So I can't wait to see you on August the 9th from 9 to 4 in Richmond Hill, Georgia. I love y'all in real life. Have an amazing day. Bye. Hey guys, it's your girl, Coach Takara Nicole, your ex.
Look at that. That's awesome. Y'all got to be pumped up about that. We're going to have some fun. And if you show up, make sure you have like your ideas, your thoughts, what you're trying to execute, where you've been at and where you're trying to get to, how you're trying to expand your business, be able to grow it. What's that word that I'm looking for? And some of the struggles that you've had. That way we can troubleshoot some of those ideas. Don't allow yourself to be stuck on an island by yourself. No, don't do that. Let's come together and figure this out. Let's reason together so we can help you grow your business. There'll be a lot of very intelligent people in the room who are skilled in different areas. So I'm glad we were able to show that. And good morning to you, Miss Sheila. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And yes, Doc, you're 100% right. That's exactly it. You have to consider the cost. That's that scripture reference that I was talking about. And so what I want to do, I think what I'm going to do today, although I have a few more strengths and weaknesses I wanted to talk about, I think we come to a good stopping point on today. So what I'm going to do is stop here today. And as bad as I want to get back to the book and go ahead and hit chapter 5, I'll go back and we're going to talk about financial strengths and weaknesses, and most importantly, solutions to help you make those weaknesses strengths and get better at them. And for some people who have strengths, how do you improve them even more to make yourself stronger? Put some of those strengths on steroids. And we'll jump back on this subject. We've been going for about 47 minutes here, and I have about 3 more points to talk about strengths and weaknesses, and I just don't want to rush them and try to squeeze them in 10 minutes. We don't have to rush. Like, there's no timeline. This is my YouTube channel, so I can take my time and hit certain subjects. The whole goal is for people to retain the information, fellowship here, talk about financial literacy so we can actually grow, not just rush through information and people don't make progress. And so you've gotten a lot of free game today. Even Doc has thrown in some of the ETFs. And if you don't know what ETFs are, research it. Find out what it means. I'm saying ETF, but what is an ETF? Does it mean exchange traded funds, or does it mean elephants that are fat? Like, what does it mean? What is an ETF? And find out what it means so you can explain it not only to yourself, but to others. So it's simplified. The better you understand something, the more likely you're able to invest in it if it makes sense to you. And so, as usual, I appreciate each and every person that takes time out to tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Why? You don't have to, but there's some reciprocation that happens here. I'm able to pour into you and motivate you, and you're able to motivate others, and the same thing happens. You motivate me, and you're able to pour into me as well. We learn from one another. And so you don't always want to be the smartest person in the room, but you want to be in the right room where you can grow. I told you all I had a great time, and I'll probably be talking about Cameroon for I don't know how many months, but I had a great time in Cameroon, and I spoiled myself with certain things. They had these beautiful, beautiful bands. Of course, that color represents the color of their map, and the green yellow, and red. And this shell right here actually used to be their currency. So there's some symbolism in some of these bands that I bought for me. And so you'll see that, of course, if you see me, I'll be wearing these different bands that I bought. And I bought a good number of them because I wanted them for myself. Now, if some people want some bands, then maybe I can get my people there to ship some off. And so you can throw me some money and I'll get them to ship it, and I'll figure it out, buy them in bulk or whatever we got to do. And whatever extra is left over, any change left, I'm just going to donate it to Cameroon. So if you do want something, let me know. And the extra money left over will go to help those who are less fortunate in Cameroon. And so I'm excited about that as well. As far as the work that's being done over there, if you donate or if you hit, there's like a thing on Facebook where you can send money through stars or something like that to me. I don't know how all of that works, but you can send stars in the comment section. Whatever money you send through the Facebook channel or what other means, whether it's your Cash App, whatever it is that you send to me, just know all of that is going to Cameroon. It's going to be donated to them. So keep that in mind. I don't, and of course I like money, but I don't necessarily need your money. But there are some people in Cameroon that are less fortunate that do. And so I appreciate any support or donations that go to Cameroon. There are a few people that listen in, they donate monthly to Cameroon, and I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate your support. I would not have been able to go on that trip without the donations and the support that you all gave. And I'll say this, I was able to fund myself for going, but some of the people that I was able to help and assist, whether it comes with missions work or ministry or the leaders that you saw in the video, your funds went to feeding certain people and housing them so that they could make the trip, so that I could talk to them and minister to them. As far as me traveling, I got my own money to travel, but it was able to help other people. I will never use your funds for myself. I will always allow God to lead me to use those funds to help those that are less fortunate. And so that's another part of strengths and weaknesses, and we'll deal with that. That's on the list. Some people, when it comes to giving, that might be a strength or it might be a weakness for you. But we'll deal with why it's important to incorporate that into your financial success as well, and my personal experiences from doing it. And so certain fundamentals and principles work. But guys, I definitely appreciate the support, the prayers, and the love, because while the planes were in the air, you already know what's going on. I was definitely like, Lord, I just want to make it back safely. And I was able to make it back safely. I'm committed to this audience. I'm committed to everybody that tunes in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, because even on Saturday when I was in Cameroon, I stopped what I was doing. I got back to my laptop and I went live last Saturday while I was in Cameroon. And I've always told y'all that Coach Steele's Finance Training is an international audience. I have people from different countries that listen in different continents. And so definitely my people in Cameroon listen in. I have another brother, he's from Cameroon, but he lives in Cyprus now. He tunes in, and sometimes you all hear him comment. And then there's some people that I don't know from different places that tune in from different countries. So we are an international YouTube channel that is constantly growing. And that's why I appreciate each and every person as you hit the share button for other people to tune in. And you also go to the YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. That is also big as well with helping me grow the YouTube channel as we share the information. There's tons of content and video on the YouTube channel. And just keep in mind, if you want a heads up, after we get done with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, we're going to also do a summary on Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover book as well. Many of you have already read it. Some of you may need to order the book and get a refresher, and I'll put a link in here where you can order the book. But other than that, we are done for the day. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourself a big hand clap because you made it through from start to finish. Once again, I'll be here live next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. And during the week, I'll be posting content and videos on the YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. Tell somebody about Coach Steele's Finance Training or else. You all be blessed. And I enjoyed my time with you all today.